What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Get Paid for Your Pad. It's been a few weeks since the last episode, almost a month actually. I've been on the road. I've been in Europe, traveling to Paris. I've been skiing for a week, so had an amazing time and kind of took a break from the podcasting. But now I am back with two of my favorite people in the Rising Star Masterminds, Zohar Lotem and his brother Eran Lotem, and these guys have sent me an amazing introduction. So I'm gonna go ahead and read the full introduction because I appreciate it when people come prepared. So there we go. Joining us today are Eran and Zohar, a dynamic brotherly duo with a shared history of entrepreneurship and family values. They're not just siblings, but longtime business partners with over 2 decades of joint ventures under their belts. Both are devoted family men, each happily married with children. Their business endeavors included establishing and running a thriving retail operation that spanned the Las Vegas Strip, California, Hawaii, and the Virgin Islands. They also founded a unique fashion line and a CBD cosmetics brand that they've not only created but also manufactured and distributed. The pivot to short-term rentals came post 2016 and truly took flight when they decided to go full throttle after liquidating their prior businesses during and because of the pandemic. This strategic shift was bolstered by their participation in the Legends X Accelerator program, a move inspired by a near-death experience event that reshaped their perspective. In 2020, Eran survived a life-threatening accident that left him temporarily reliant on a wheelchair and the support of his family. This experience spurred them to establish the first accessible Airbnb short-term rental home in Las Vegas. Since then, Eran and Zohar have exponentially grown their portfolio from 4 to 20 properties in just 1 year and launched their own property management firm, Star STR. They specialize in managing properties that cater to the higher end of the market, particularly those with 5 or more bedrooms. Star STR distinguishes itself by offering 2 tiers of management services: the premium full service and an online service, each designed to deliver an uncompromising level of excellence to property owners and guests alike. Mic drop. Well, congratulations, guys. This is episode number 608, and I think you guys have sent me the best intro. We're almost 10 years of podcasting. That's a congratulations. Who wrote the introduction here?
Well, I'd say we worked on it together, and then we had the amazing assistance of the artificial intelligence to improve on it and fine tune it later. And yeah, that's what we came up with.
I was gonna say I have a suspicion ChatGPT had a part in this.
Yeah, it definitely helped us somewhat. Yeah.
But anyway, we'll give you the award for the best intro ever on the Get Paid for Your Pad podcast. So congratulations. And it's been quite a journey. I mean, I've known you guys for a few years, so I've seen you guys join our group and expand your portfolio, start your management company. I know there was a lot of challenges and a lot of learning lessons along the way. Not just on the business side, but as we just learned, Eran, for you also on the personal level. Well, we're very happy that you're still with us and you've recovered from that accident. But let me start off. With the first question. Like, what were the biggest challenges for you guys? Like making the pivot from the retail space to the short-term rental space, and really building that management company in Las Vegas.
Um, well, we're excited, very excited to be here. First of all, yeah, we've known you for many years already, I can say, and it's always been a pleasure. And your podcast has always been an inspiration in our progress within this space, in this industry of short-term rentals. I think it's probably the best podcast in this industry, in my opinion,
Woohoo!
for
I
sure,
agree.
for real. Well, yeah, we've been doing business for a very long time, together, and we had multiple partnerships, and we've tried so many different spaces in the business industry, which is endless, of course. But we stumbled upon, we just did it at first as for fun. We opened up one apartment that we owned and started just short-term renting it. We saw it was doing pretty well, very easily at first. It was around 2016, 15 maybe, and we were shut down very quickly by the HOA here in Vegas. And then we actually purchased our first villa house, um, and then thanks to that occasion, we actually licensed it immediately, and we're told by the clerk that we're very lucky, that it's not going to be like that, how we just filled out this document and then you get a license. It's not going to be like that very soon. And sure enough, regulations in Vegas became very, very harsh very quickly, and now you have to maneuver between those regulations. And we became actually specialists of this area in the Las Vegas area, which has 4 counties. Each one has different regulations and different rules, and we have properties wherever you can license. We actually bought a property and licensed it. And there's one county that still you cannot get a license, but that's a different story and a long story, which is also an opportunity. We say if you can't fight them, join them. Instead, like we know a lot of people that are very mad and are very frustrated with the regulation, and cars were used to be had no rules. You could drive whatever age when they just begun, but rules came in, and it was for the good. Less accidents and more supervision, because it's a killing machine. So same with this. You want a neighborhood that you can live in, but yet you want to have short-term rental, which is awesome as well. So we love regulation in a way, and we live with it, and we're not fighting it. We're joining it. We had a lot of pain points when we started short-term rental, and after Eran's experience, we decided we want to do what we love and what we enjoy in work and in general. And we love traveling, we love hosting, we love a great experience, and all of this, and hospitality, and all of this together just funneled into short-term rentals, which we enjoy what we do, we enjoy the industry, and we enjoy the business opportunity in it as well. And it's very sophisticated, and it's endless, and very, very interesting. And there's so many different levels you can actually deal with and be in this endeavor. So pain points that we dealt with, there are many. Eran actually, he specializes with Eran, you want to talk about hospitality?
Sure. So what we try to do, we're called Star STR. We try to deliver a 5-star service to our guests. Now, we learned that, not necessarily you need the best home, the nicest home, the biggest home, or the most important thing is experience your clients are going to go through. That's the way we see it. And I want to say we try to over deliver. For example, we have a house that always gets 5 stars, and the entry is pretty disappointing. When you go there, you're going to say, oh my God, where did we come? What is this property? And when you enter the property, you're wowed. So we put some thought, should we change it? And we decided no. I think it's great. It's a small example for to over deliver. Now, I know Eric speaks a lot about the book Unreasonable Hospitality, and we read the book, and we follow a lot of interesting quotes from the book. One of them that I wanted to mention, and I'm also getting my staff, my VAs, I got them the book, and we're discussing the book actually every once a week. We're trying to implement some of the things we read there in our systems. But they have a few quotes that we love. For instance, I chose two quotes to mention today. So the difference, the book is more about restaurants. He talks about restaurant, and he say, to serve a plate that somebody ordered to a table on time and to be accurate, that's service, and that's fine and that's important. But to have the personal connection with a client, that's hospitality. Or another way they say it in the book, service is black and white, hospitality is color. We try to be the color. We try to add color to the guests. So we try to reply to them within less than 5 minutes. And we use, for example, if a guest would complain on an issue that used to give me headaches, let's say a sauna, he asked about it, and I gave him a few tips how to fix it, and I didn't hear back. In the past, I wouldn't ask again. Okay, it's quiet, let's keep it this way. Nowadays, our system changed. We keep on asking until we get a straight yes, it's solved, it's working. We want to show them we really care, because we do, we really care. If it's not solved, we need to find a solution, even if it's a compensation. So pretty much that is what leads me in with our clients.
If I could just interrupt, because I think this is a really good point. I think it's a really important mindset that we as hosts have to make. A lot of people, when they start their Airbnb, they're excited, it's a new opportunity. But then soon enough, they realize like you're dealing with people, and you're dealing with people 24 hours a day. And there's going to be challenges. There's going to be issues. There's going to be guests that are communicating in a way that we might not want to be communicated to, right? And in the beginning, it's just like, it's kind of like hard to enjoy that process, because you don't really expect it necessarily. So then it's like, at some point you just get tired of like the guest complaining and the the little things that you couldn't even do anything about. I had a guest complain about the smell one time, because there's a store in my street that sells fresh fish, and I saw that as a good thing. It's like, hey, how awesome is it? You can within a 2-minute walk, you can get like a fish that was caught on the same day, right? But this guest was like, your house smells like fish. And I was like, well, I mean, there's a fresh fish store in the street. Like, what am I going to do? Right? Tell them to move their shop or something like that. Right. But, changing that mindset from just kind of resisting, dealing with guests that give that type of feedback to really like coming from a place of, hey, it's my responsibility as a host to provide the best experience possible to my guests, no matter what their feedback is or no matter how they communicate. It's still my responsibility to provide the best experience possible. So kind of, putting the ego on the side and just coming from a place of like, how do I always over deliver to my guests, regardless of who they are and what they are communicating to me. So I just want to share that, because I think that's a really important mindset shift, and it sounds like you guys have made that shift, which is awesome.
Yes, definitely.
I'd like to add to that, Eran, that we also try and it's like our goal of us to see our guests as best friends, old friends, and that mindset is also helping us. And one of the most difficult things was to answer anytime, we have guests coming from different countries and they approach you in the middle of the night and you want to be competitive in this market. So how can you be available in the middle of the night in a barbecue on a Sunday? So those are that's a pain point that we had to deal with, and the solution is to have virtual assistants, which are real people but just on another continent, that are available 24/7 to cater to your customer if the guest is having a problem in the middle of the night, or if they're inquiring about your property and you want to answer ASAP before they actually approach another property that will answer them in the middle of the night. You want to be there all the time, available, with the perfect answers, with frequently asked questions ready for you. So yeah, that's one pain point that we had to deal with when we started as amateurs, and going through the process of becoming professional hosts. That we actually learned a lot in your accelerator, Jasper, for sure with this part. Then another pain point is, I spoke about it, is the regulations coming. So that's another pain point that we actually dealt with and actually use it to our advantage, because as soon as the industry really regulates itself throughout the United States, there will be no going back, and whoever has the license, that's a cash cow for life, as long as you manage it right and you don't have parties and get shut down for irresponsible management. That's a huge asset, which right now whoever wants to open can open, and it's uncomfortable for the neighborhoods, and it's not gonna last. It's not gonna last. So it's an advantage if you know how to, if you have the right mindset towards it. Another problem we had, especially lately, it's becoming a big one, is the low occupancy because of competition. So basically, that happened because of COVID, I would say. During COVID, it was really easy to run a short-term rental because everyone was escaping the public hotels. They were afraid to get sick, and they would look for a short-term rental. So one, it actually created, people got to know short-term rentals, people that never imagined to find themselves staying in a short-term rental, and they said, I would never stay in a house of someone, I would always go to a hotel. They had no choice. And other reasons, the hotels were shut down, or you didn't want to share an elevator. So everyone went to short-term rentals, and whoever opened was successful immediately. But that all stopped after the pandemic went away, and then everyone started feeling the pain of too many properties, too much competition, people dropping the price irresponsibly, and that's a new market that you have to, or a new situation you have to deal with. And when you do it professionally, there are tools to deal with it. One of them is revenue management. See your competition and how you can compete. Another is exposure. Have many different channels or OTAs like Airbnb, VRBO, Booking.com, Hopper, Direct Booking, uh, Wimstay, Google's rentals. It's endless. There's a huge list, and if you can actually be in many of them, you get to have your name in more places, and social media, and email blast to your guests that stayed with you. All of this, you cannot do it when you're just dealing with this alone. You have to be doing it professionally. And we actually, again, in your we're part of your alumni group of Legends X students, and we actually our paths crossed with Mark Simpson, which is also an industry very known person because he leads he has a Boostly, which is a website for direct booking, and he's a specialist in that industry. And we actually have begun this endeavor with Mark Simpson. We're the first to be part of a secret new project within our industry to actually get more bookings and get more exposure and do better with revenue management and other different things in other different methods. Again, it's still secret, so we cannot talk about it, but it's very exciting. Very exciting.
I love secrets. You're gonna have to tell me later. I already know.
What else, Eran?
I think we skipped maintenance and safety issues. That's a big one. You know, me and Zohar, we like to sleep well at night. So when we see a property, first thing before anything, we look at the safety. You know, smoke detectors, all of that stuff. You'll be surprised how so many homes are neglected. You know, so I remember, I think it was house number 15. I don't know why I remember that number, but I think it was, I went to see a house, and while I was inspecting it with my housekeeping manager, I opened the box where for the pool, all the toys for the pool, you know, the
Oh yeah,
inflatable, and there are, you know, Coca-Cola bottles filled with chlorine for the pool inside.
chlorine.
So yeah. Or Zor, you remember the high voltage line near the pool? You encounter crazy things and crazy stories. So the first thing we want to make sure the property is safe for the guests. So there are so many examples. I can probably write a list of.
You could probably write a book.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
You know what I think is really interesting about you guys is that you are so experienced with business, right? You ran all these businesses in the past, so I'm really curious because for a lot of Airbnb hosts, for a lot of people that started management companies, they actually came from you know what you call it, like just a 9 to 5 job, right? And then they started renting out a couple units, and now they are quitting their jobs and going all in on the vacation rental industry, but you guys are have been entrepreneurs for a very very long time. How does how does it compare to run a short-term rental management company versus the other companies that you guys have ran in the past?
That's a good question.
Those are the questions I ask, the good ones.
Well, first of all, the with AI coming and all the technology that is in our industry and in our business, and because it's quite a new industry, a lot of things are not set yet, and it's a challenge. For instance, we transitioned between, I think, 5 or 6 property management systems until we landed one we actually like and agree with and feel that it's actually doing us a service. Um, so yeah, it's a challenge, but if you run it, if you wisely build it, the manpower you will need is a lot less. I mean, I know I met someone that has hundreds of properties but also has hundreds of employees, and that was shocking to me because you can run the same operation with a lot less manpower, and it's very competitive, this industry. And if you run it with less manpower, you save a lot of money, and you do it a lot. The accuracy is a lot higher, but it's very challenging. For instance, creating the formulas for accounting in the property management system is super difficult because every channel, every website like Airbnb, VRBO, they all have different categorization for income and expense, and they sometimes change it around, and different situations change the numbers. And to handle all of this and and to do all of this and to have it all integrated into one system and to try and automate it as much as you can is a challenge, which is fun, but it's also a big challenge. And when you deal with other businesses, like classic, for instance, retail, you have the salespeople, you have their manager, you set their goals, you have a CEO or
Zohar,
not sure about.
I think the main difference is in the retail, we were very targeted towards making money. It was about making money, revenue. And of course, we're in business to make money. But over here, I want to say we're trying to do good to other people. If it's our clients, the homeowners, we try to give them a superb service. And definitely for the guests, there, to see the reviews, the guests, how they praise us, how they enjoy their stay. For us, for me, it's worth everything. And for sure, the money is extra. When the money comes, definitely, you're success. It's a success. But definitely, I want to say we're doing something we love, both of us. We really enjoy what we're doing. It's a young industry with so many opportunities that, if you like technology, there is a place. If you like logistics, there is a place for you. If you like customer service, it touches so many different areas that I'm sure any person can find his spot, what he likes, and be a part of it.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point because, imagine somebody going on holiday. Like most people go on holiday once a year, right? Sometimes it's a special occasion. It's like a honeymoon, or there could be like really like experiences that people will never forget for the rest of their life, right? Versus like, let's say you have a clothing store or something, somebody buys a jacket. Yeah, they're happy with the jacket and it's great.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
you're also having a positive effect on somebody else's life, but somebody will always remember their honeymoon, for example. You guys could be part of that, right? So I think that's a really good point where we're having we have the ability to really make an impact on somebody's life and create an experience that they will never forget, and they might even tell their their children and their grandchildren about it, right? Which is awesome.
Exactly.
Totally.
Do you want to add anything to that, or because I've got a couple other things I want to ask you guys.
We wanted to talk about also about the, well, after we managed a bunch of properties, we found that different designs, like if you had a restaurant and you had this secret recipe that would have people stand in line for, because of that secret recipe, nobody knows how you make it, but everyone is standing in line just for that specific secret sauce or something. So we actually encountered a few properties that for some weird reason they're next to each other and we couldn't figure out why this one gets packed and this one doesn't. Eventually we actually figured some of those secret recipes out, and we want to be able to duplicate it. And when you go on and you actually want to duplicate it, you find out sometimes it's very expensive, and ROI wise, return on investment, it's going to be hard to
Specifically,
what?
you're talking about the design part.
It could be design, it could be there's other things, but specifically this, like, for instance, you want to create a unique home with special luxury furniture, because when someone is in a property that has luxury furniture that he might not have in his own house, he appreciates it more, and he's going to review it better, and he's going to want to come back, and he's going to refer you to other of his friends. So we started looking at it, and it didn't make sense with the numbers. Like, how am I going to return? Like, there's furniture that costs $5, $6, $7, $8,000. There's other fixtures for the house that can reach $30, $40, $50,000, and it doesn't make any financial sense to actually get it, except for the fun part of having offering like an amazing experience. So then we started thinking like, well, we're in a group of like us managers and people that aspire to offer the best experience to their guests and amazing service to the property owners. And why not join forces? And we found that if we can import, like we used to import stuff, we used to import fashion from India and from other places in Asia, and export it actually to other countries from the US. So we have some experience, and we know that we can get furniture and fixtures and structures for a lot cheaper. Like what the stores in the US do, and they mark up the prices like 5, 10, 15 times the cost in Asia. We can bring it if we join forces, because they would want quantity, and you need a specialist that actually can go and sort out the product and the quality, that it's a good quality and that it stands like the standards of the United States, etc. So if we join forces, I can give you another example. Like there's a new thing, it's called a vertical printer. Have you heard of that? It's a printer that can print on walls. So you can have like a Picasso art piece or an amazing artist that you love, and you can just print it on your wall, or anything you want, print it on the wall. I have a few pictures of stuff I can share. That machine, I found one just randomly that is produced in Germany. It costs $50,000. Now, if you want to rent the service, you're going to pay around $1,500, $2,000 for one wall. So if we bought it as a group, let's say 10 managers, 15 managers, or 15 property or owners of a short-term rental company, then it would be around 3,000-4,000 for each company, and then the shipping between us. And you get it for like a week too. You print on all of your properties these amazing designs, and you become unique. Nobody else has it. You become very competitive. I mean, and your ROI will still be intact. You know, your return on investment would be good. So we actually started a group in Your Legends X for people that want to join us with this, to actually buy stuff, buy furniture, buy fixtures. Can I share a few? Can I show?
Of course.
Okay. Share. There we go. So here is an example for the swimming pool. So this you would pay for this in the US minimum $2,000, and it can go up to $3,000-$4,000. Here it is another example. This would probably be the same price.
And Zohar, just for the people that are listening to the audio and not watching the video on YouTube, we're looking at furniture that you would place around the pool. For example, like a big, what do you call it? Like a little, I don't even know what you call these things.
I think it's called rattan furniture. It's like
very comfortable lounge chairs and beds that you can put along on the side of the pool.
Yeah, like and it makes a whole difference if you have something like this by your pool. It's like, now here is another one. This is a splash pad. It's like a water park area, and you get this whole unit. I saw it for like $1,500, but you have to buy a bunch of them. Now, yeah, you need to build like the area around it that will capture the water with and the filter, but it's not a real pool, so it's not going to cost as much. But this is an experience that you're competition would not be able to have, because it's going to cost them $30,000 to do this, or
Yeah.
$50,000, and for us it will be 20, because of the pool thing, or even less. So it would be an amazing thing. It would make your home a lot more attractive. You're going to get a lot more reservations, and you're going to give an amazing experience, an unforgettable experience to your guests. And it's nothing. I have nothing to say. This is like a play for the indoor playground for the kids.
Indoor play area, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, these things look really cool, and I like the way you're thinking. Like these are kind of things that for an individual host, is going to be very expensive to source locally. But if we want to source it from a different country where we can get these things more at a better price, we're going to have to order in bulk, right? So we're going to have to
Yeah.
find a few people who are all interested in having one either like a play park in a pool, or like an indoor play park for children, or a really nice furniture for along the pool. And there's a lot of different options, right? These are just some examples that Zohar
The
is
more
showing.
units you buy, the cheaper the price is. And if we
Right.
get a specialist.
So Zohar, how about this? Why don't you let people know if people are listening to this and they're interested in this idea of creating really unique experiences in their homes with this type of furniture? What's the best way for them to contact you?
On our website, 5starstr.com. So basically, it's STR is short for short-term rental. So 5-star STR, 5 is the number 5. 5starstr.com, and just give us a holler over there. Contact us through the website, and let's hook up. Let's connect. This is another example here of the vertical printer. It doesn't seem like much, but this puppy costs $50,000. It's called a wall pen. That's the name of this brand. And it just prints whatever you want. It can print in color. It can print outdoors as well as indoors. This is another example.
Yeah, it's incredible. That's beautiful. Yeah, and if you're listening to this and you want to see what we're looking at, go to YouTube, and you'll find the podcast video there, so you can see what type of wall designs that we're looking at, that has been created by this vertical. What's it called? A vertical printer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, here you can see. I'll try and zoom in. Oops.
Yeah, it looks incredible. A giant. What's that? A giant lizard?
A giant whale. This one is
whale.
like environmental awareness. So they put it in a coffee shop, and they paid for it. This is like I'm getting advertisement from this company for how much you would earn if you bought this and you actually created a business with your printer and sold it. So this thing was they paid for $1,400 just for this print.
Mm-hmm.
So as a group, if we buy a printer like this, we can go crazy with what we do in our properties and be very unique, very special, offer an amazing different experience to the guests, and not go overboard with expenses. Yeah, we'll have to wait in line for the printer, but
no, I love it. Awesome. So if you're listening to this and you're interested in joining Zohar's group to explore some of these ideas, again, go to 5, the number 5, and then stars, as in STRARS. No, sorry, 5 the number, then STAR, and then STR. 5-star STR with the number 5.com. You can see Zohar's amazing properties in Vegas. He's got some really, really cool properties. So just just looking at the properties is already worth visiting the website. But there's a button on the website that says "Contact Us," where you can you can reach out to Zohar if you're interested in in joining his group, and also, of course, if you're interested in any management services as well. Are you guys just in Vegas, or I think you guys expanded to other markets as well, right?
Yes, we actually are also in Texas, um, in um, in Florida, and in Arizona.
Gotcha. Okay. So anybody in those markets, or are you also interested in expanding to other markets?
It's possible, definitely possible for the especially for the online tier.
Right. Awesome, guys. Well, we've been talking for about 40 minutes. I love the mindset that you guys have, the inspiration with the group bulk buying for to create unique experiences. I think you guys are definitely on the right track with that, because we talked about it, and we've talked about it many times on this podcast in the last year or so. I think everybody's feeling the slowdown, or the increase in supply in our industry. So we have to think outside of the box, and we have to up our game in order to stay competitive. Because as we mentioned, just getting something on Airbnb and sitting back and waiting for the bookings to come in, those times are definitely over. So, any final words before we wrap up?
Iran?
Happy to be here, Jasper. Thank you.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys. I'm excited to see what comes out of this initiative. And
Mhm.
to the listeners, I hope you enjoyed this podcast. And I will. I'm actually flying to the States this week, so starting next week, I'll be back on the regular schedule of 2 podcasts a week. So we'll have a lot of cool episodes, I'm sure, coming up in 2024, which is going to be the year that we celebrate the 10-year anniversary of this podcast. So sure we'll
Woo!
have some special episodes for that. So thanks, Zohar. Thanks, Aaron. Appreciate you guys. Thanks, all the listeners. And we will see you next time.
Bye bye.